Hi, I'm John Pullman, professional boxing trainer, owner of Pullman's Gym in Northridge, California, and this is Pullmanomics. I think the major reason that I'm drawn to boxing is because I find it a lot like life in general. There's so many metaphors and parallels that I always, can connect. For example, Ben Franklin once said, "Small leaks sink big ships." Makes perfect sense. Just like in boxing and life, you have to pay attention to the little things. A small leak can get out of control real quick.
Shane's trying to go to the body more. It's not easy to do when Wright pins his elbows against his ribs.
If you don't seal that leak up or patch it up or fix it, eventually it will sink your ship. So today we're going to talk about how to defend body shots. Body shots can be a leak, and it could sink your ship eventually if you don't stop it in its tracks. So we're going to pay attention to how to block body shots and uppercuts, because I find that to be very important, even though it's not glamorous. Here we have the magnificent Mr. Josh Zuniga here. He's going to help us out like always. And he's going to be in a boxing stance, a good left-handed boxing stance. And we're going to, like I said earlier, we're going to really focus on how to block body shots in the most basic sense right here, right? There's different ways of doing this for sure, like different styles. But today we're just going to go over the really basic sense that you will want to learn first, okay? So here he is in a good boxing stance. And he's in a left-handed boxing stance, but it wouldn't matter if he was in a right-handed stance, as I'll show you in a second. Right? So let's say I'm going to throw a left hook to his body, okay, from right here in a right-handed boxing stance. He's going to use his right elbow to block it. And the way he's going to do it is he's going to bend his knees a little bit without dropping his hand too much. You might, depending on how long your arms are, you might have to drop your hand a little bit, but you don't want to just drop your arm like this to block it and leave your face exposed. You want to bend your knee a little bit this way, right, to kind of drop your elbow at the same time. So he's going to kind of sit, boom, and use his elbow like so. Right? If he were to switch his feet and be in a right-handed stance, it's the same thing. He sits down into it that way. So that's why it's not super important to which stance you're in. It's very similar. So he bends his knees here, boom, right, and just blocks it just like so. He kind of sits into the shot to smother it as well on this one. Boom, good, just like that. I throw a left hook, boom, he blocks it just like that. So as you can see, when he goes to block this, his hands are up just in case. If I were to fake like I was going to do a body shot and throw something up top, he got that kind of covered too. His chin is tucked, his eyes are on my chest, right? Boom, exactly. And he turns his foot a little bit as well. Good. So that's a good basic block of a left hook to the body. All right, here we have Josh again. He's in a good left-handed boxing stance, right? And we're going to show how to block the right hook to the body in a very basic way. Again, more than one way of doing this, and we'll go over more advanced ways as we progress. But right now we're building a foundation, and we're going to keep it sealed strong and start from the basics. So here he is in a good boxing stance, right? And I'm going to throw a right hook to his body. And just like how he blocked the left hook to his body, he's just going to bend this, it'll be his left arm. He's going to sit it down towards his hip, his left elbow towards his hip without dropping his hand too much, and bend his knees, putting a little more weight on the back leg. I go here, whoop, and he meets it. Kind of sits into it and smothers it a little bit. Whoop, good, and both his hands are up here just in case, right? And he's sitting his weight a little bit on the back leg. Good, just like so. If I was left-handed, and it's the same idea, right? It's not much different. If he was right-handed and he switched his feet, it's the same idea. He just sits his elbow down and shifts the weight a little bit more on the front as opposed to the back. Good. And he's back in his regular stance. His hands are up just in case. And he sits down and stops it. So that's blocking the right hook to the body. Here we have Josh, right, in his good boxing stance. And we're going to go over how to block a straight shot to the body. And this one is a straight left hand. It'll be a jab, like a jab or a straight left hand to the body. It's very similar. So here he is in a good boxing stance. And what he's going to do on this one is he's going to try to block it with his elbow, okay? He's just going to turn very similar to how he's been turning instead of sitting though, he's gonna turn. It's similar to the way he's been blocking the hooks in the sense that he doesn't want to reach. He's not using his hands, he's still using his elbow. But this one he's gonna kind of turn and kind of go away from it. So you'll see in a second. So I see an opening here, right? So I'm gonna try to go for that opening, right, with my straight punch, and watch how he turns his right arm and stops it with his elbow. Boom. You see that? Try it again, right? He even might scoot his back foot back a little bit to create a little distance too. Boom, exactly. That's a good, and he keeps his hands up because a lot of times what I see guys do is they reach and try to block the jab with their hand or something, like this way. I see guys do that a lot. The problem with that is you open yourself up for someone who can fake that and then come over the top like this. So you got to be careful reaching with your hands. Not to say that it can never work, but you want to learn how to not reach for things first. Use your elbows to block, right? So here we go. Right, again, he's going to block. Boom, exactly. So that's me throwing a straight jab in a right-handed stance, right? It's not much difference if I were to switch my stance and throw a straight left hand, it's the same idea. He's not making much different move at all. He's just sitting in his back leg, same way. Turn, right, good. So it's very similar. If he were to switch his feet to a right-handed stance, he's still going to use his right arm, but it's in the back now, so he's going to kind of turn this way with it. Boom, exactly. And his weight shifts forward a little bit. Good. If I throw it, the same thing, kind of like with a jab. Boom, good. Boom, good. So you really want to get comfortable blocking these shots with your elbows. It takes a lot of discipline to not reach for them with your hands, but it'll be helpful for you if you can avoid that. Here we got Josh back in his boxing stance, right? And I'm going to shoot a straight right hand to his body now. He's going to use his left elbow and forearm to kind of deflect and stop it and block this one here. Watch. He's going to turn his foot, his shoulder, his arm, and he's going to take away that opening that I see. Boom. And he took a little step back too. Really smart. Boom. Good. That's a straight right to the body. Boom. Even if I'm left-handed, it works the same way. Boom. Really good way of blocking it. Boom. Good. Boom. Right. And he's not reaching. He's using his forearms and his elbows, right? And if he were to switch his feet and I threw a straight right to his body from a right-handed stance, it doesn't matter. He's going to use his left elbow the same way, but he's just going to shift his weight back a little bit. Bang. Right. That's it. He's using his forearms. The major point is he's not reaching. He's using his arms. He's not reaching with his hands. He's using his forearms, turning his body the way he needs to turn it to stop the shots, the straight shots. You're going to fire this way. Bang. Good. Bang. So that's a really good way of using his forearms and his elbows to block the straight shot. Josh back in his boxing stance. We're going to go over blocking uppercuts now, right? It could be uppercuts to the body or head. It's going to be a very similar move, right? So here he is in his boxing stance. And again, there are other ways of doing this for sure, more advanced ways that we will kind of get into later. But for now, we're going to keep it simple, blocking with the forearms and the elbows, right? So here's in a boxing stance. And I'm going to throw an uppercut. Doesn't matter really what hand I throw. He's going to do what I call seal it off. He's going to take his hands and bring them together and seal off the opening right up the middle, right? He's in a good boxing stance. And watch what he does with his arms. Woo! He seals them off. Look at that. He bent his knees a little more. He got a good base. He's balanced. He's not leaning too much. You know, he got, you know, his weight's kind of evenly distributed there. Boom, he's stopping that uppercut with his forearms right there. Sometimes it happens with the gloves too. Boom, he gets him with the gloves sometimes too. And he seals it off, but he doesn't go too much where he opens himself up here. You're going to be a little open. Go ahead, seal it off, Josh. You're going to be a little open around the sides, but he's not past the point of no return where he can still get it back to protect himself there too. It's like a bomb shelter, right? Woo! Even if I throw a left uppercut, it's the same thing. Woo! Good, even if I'm left-handed or whatever. Woo! Here. Woo! He seals it off, right? Woo! He's using his forearms. He's not reaching. He's keeping himself nice and protected. He's on the inside. We're close to each other. Boom, stop the uppercut. Boom, stop the uppercut, right? Even if he switches his feet, he was right-handed, it's the same move. He's sealing it off. Boom, sealing it off. Boom. Start a little more sideways, right? Boom, I think I see an opening, and then he closes it. Boom, good. So that's a good basic way of how to block an uppercut. Great, so today we went over, how to block body shots and uppercuts in a really basic way using your forearms and your elbows and not reaching with your hands. Very important to learn this principle. It'll really help you later on knowing how to do this if it's necessary, right? If you have a training partner to help you, that's great. You could practice the same way that you saw in the video that Josh and I were practicing. You can go back and forth, taking turns, you know, throwing the shots at each other, practicing blocking them the right way, paying attention to every little thing. And if you don't have a training partner, that's fine too. You can practice on your own, like getting a good boxing stance and just practice, find a mirror, boom, he's practicing blocking his shots, the technique, try to really pay attention to your feet, how to make sure you're blocking the shots the right way, everything is in its right place, you know? So the point is you can practice this with whatever you have. If you don't have a gym to go to or you don't have a proper training partner, instead of making excuses about stuff, just do whatever you can, whenever you can. And that's how you're gonna get the most out of yourself. Please, if you like these videos, please subscribe and like our channel. It helps us keep bringing you the best possible content we can. If you have any questions, like always, feel free to put them in the comments and we'll do the best to get back to you. Thank you.